Hey guys, welcome to GIS 105, Rhone State, fall of 2019. This is Project 2, and I'm going to show you something here that we can use to add on to the project you're currently working on. Remember, this is a project to create a topo map from scratch. This is kind of where I left off. I haven't finished all the symbology and stuff on my trails, but it'll work for what we're doing today. Okay? So I'm going to start with this park map, and the first thing I'm going to do is what I'm shooting for today is I'm going to add some texture to this map. This is a pretty good map, but I'm going to show you something that'll make it, I think, even a little bit better. So I'm going to go to the national map. This is the download page. You guys have seen this before, and I'm going to get something called a DEM. Now I can also get this from TNGIS if you prefer to. If you go to data collections, go to elevation, you'll get this page and you go to download DEMs, and when you do that it'll open a new page and you can download these DEMs as zip files based on quads. These are all quad names here. But I'm going to get mine from the national map, and what I'm looking for, I've already put in my quad. It's Big Ridge State Park, the area I'm interested in. If I click go, it'll take me there. Okay, and the product I'm looking for over here in the search side of things is the elevation products, and it's already set to 1/3 arc second DEM. I'm going to use that. You could get something. You could get the 1 meters. You could. I mean, I'm just going to go with this because I know it'll work. And when I click find products, this is what pops up. So this is a DEM. This is a big file. If you look at the area it covers, well, for some reason they're not showing me that. I'll put the footprint on. There you go. It covers quite a bit of area there, more than I need, but it's going to work for what I'm doing. So I'm just going to use this. If I really wanted to, and I was working with a lot, I would just clip it to fit the area I'm interested in. But I don't really need to do that for today. Okay, I've already downloaded this, so I'm not going to go through that, and I'm not going to go through the things you guys already know how to do. So I'm going to go back to ArcMap, and I'm going to add that layer. So I've already downloaded it, and remember I've got everything in a folder called Project 2. It's a subfolder under my GIS 105, and I've created another folder called DEM. And open that up. I've already worked with this some, so yours isn't going to look like this. You won't see all these files, but the one is going to be this GRDN, and then there'll be some numbers after it based on the location that you downloaded. Notice this symbol here. This indicates that this is a raster file, which means it's basically just an image. There won't be any meaningful data associated with it that you can use in the attribute table, but that's okay. We're going to use it. So I'm going to click on this and add this to my map. And remember, I've already downloaded this, moved it in my folders, and you guys know how to do that. I add it, you'll see what this looks like. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go here into the properties. I'm going to go to my symbology, and I'm going to right click on this color ramp and turn off graphic view. And I'm going to scroll down here to elevation number 1, and I'm going to set my symbology to that. You can see it's changed the colors and stuff and everything. Okay. At this point, just for clarity's sake, I'm going to turn off all these layers that I've got on. I'm not removing them from my map. I'm just going to turn them off because I kind of want to see. This is the layer I added. That's the only thing I've got turned on right now. I'm going to turn my park boundary back on so that I can see where my park is. Okay, so now I've got my boundary and I've got my DEM loaded, and I've set the symbology to something I want. I'm going to use a tool at this point called Hillshade. I'm going to search for it here. This is the search icon. You click on this. Hey, I got a FAFSA filing day notice. Great. I'm going to search for Hillshade. Okay, tool. It's the easiest way to find tools if you know their name. I don't want the 3D analyst. I'm going to use the spatial analyst. Okay. Window pops up, dialog box. The input raster is going to be that DEM that I just downloaded. I'm going to have to change this to some meaningful name for me and location. And you'll see I've actually already run this tool a couple of times. So I ran it once and called it Hillshade. I ran it another time, called it Hillshade 2. So rather than run the tool and have you watch it, I'm just going to use the one that I did earlier. So anyways, if I was actually running this, I would change this. This is optional, this is optional, this is optional. You would click OK and the tool would run. Again, it'll take a few minutes for that to run, so I'm not going to do that right now. I've already done it. And I'm going to go up here and add that hillshade that I created. When I ran it and saved it, I put it in my DEM folder because it's created from a DEM, and to me that makes sense. And there's the one I'm going to add. I could do either one, but I'm going to add this hillshade too. I'm going to add that to my data set, and you'll see what that looks like. I think it's a pretty cool looking effect. Okay, at this point, I'm going to take my DEM and move it above my hillshade. Now, if I have trouble doing that, remember you can only move them around if you're on list by drawing order. Okay, so I'm going to move it up here, and then I'm going to take this, take my DEM, and I'm going to go to display, and I'm going to set the transparency to 50% so that I can see through that DEM and see the hillshade below. When I do that, you'll see now what I've got is I've got this DEM showing up with my, partially showing up with my hillshade shining through from below or coming through from below. Okay, so it makes for a kind of nice effect. At this point, I can turn on whatever layers I want. So let's turn on our water body file. So there's Norris Lake. Let's turn on my streams. Remember, I have to do that twice because I happen to be right on the border between two different quads. Okay. I can turn on my derived names. I like those derived names. Kind of gives me a sense of place to go with this. I can turn on my buildings. I can turn on my roads. The whole point of this thing was trails. I can turn those on if I want to. And you'll see I'm kind of back to where I was. I can also turn on my contours that I was using. Remember, again, I had to do that twice. And now I've got a map that looks like this. Okay. And in all honesty, I love the contours they provide, but they're 20-foot contours. And in this case, I don't know, maybe that's a little crowded. And maybe it kind of obscures a little bit of that hillshade effect I just created. So I'm going to show you one other thing you can do once you've got a DEM that's kind of cool. I'm going to turn off those two layers. Okay. And I'm going to I'm going to look for a tool. There is a tool that exists that's called Contour. And I'm going to put in here Contour and then search for it. And again, I don't want the 3D analyst, I want the spatial analyst. All right, my input raster is going to be my DEM. My output raster, I'm going to put it in a location and a name. Now you can see I've run this tool quite a few times just practicing. Um, and so you're going to put in the name you want to give it. Well, let's just run it again because I want to show you something. So I'm going to call this Contour 6. And then it asks for the contour interval. Now here's a catch on this, both from TNGIS and from the national map. The intervals are in meters. So if I put in here 20, that's going to give me 20 meters, which is going to be roughly 66 feet. Okay, and I'm in a American, and I'm used to working in feet. So what I'm going to do is figure out how to make these contour intervals meaningful to me. And so I'm going to set these up on 100. My goal is 100-foot contour intervals. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of math, and it turns out that 1 meter is equal to 3.281 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my desired contour interval and I'm going to divide that by 3.281 feet. So when I take 100 and divide it by 3.281, I get 30.478. That is my contour interval in meters. Okay. This is optional. This is optional. So I'm going to click OK. And you can see that my contour tool is running. I thought I hit pause. Okay, pause it there for a moment. You can see that my contour tool ran successfully and it automatically added that layer that I just created here. I'm going to set the symbology to something dark so I can see it. I kind of like that fur green. And now you can see these new contours that I actually created uh, using the contour tool. The only problem with this is if you check this, the contours are in meters, so that contour is 335.258 meters above sea level. But what's more useful to me is feet. So I'm going to go in here, open attribute table, and I'm going to add a field under table options, add field. I'm going to call this, I'm going to call it elevation feet, so I know what it is. I'm going to leave it as a short integer, and I'm going to add that to my table. Then I'm going to do a field calculator. I know, it's okay. And my elevation in feet is going to be equal to, it's going to be equal to my contour, double click that, multiplied by that conversion factor we mentioned a minute ago, which is 3.281. Just type that in there, click OK. This is going to calculate the records. This doesn't tend to take too long, so I'll let you guys watch this. Little thing there makes me dizzy. I don't know about you guys. Just kidding. Looks like our electrician won't be able to do some work for us. All right, you can see the elevations are now nice, even 100-foot contours. Okay, so I can close this. If I want to use my eye tool, I can click on this. And now, in addition to the contour elevation in meters, I have it in feet, which is more meaningful to me. And if I want to, I can click on this. I can go to properties. And under labels, if I can actually set this now to the field I created. I'm going to make this bold so we can see it. I'll make this a 10 so we can see it. And I'm going to turn my labels on and you can see it pops up and now my, I zoomed in, this pops up and now my labels will appear on those contours if I want them to. I can work on the font, I can work on the number of labels and things like that if I want. At any rate, this is now you have a topo map that we've made from scratch. We've added some texture to it. We've created some custom contours, if we want to, or if you really like these, if you'd rather, you can use the original contours that we started with, okay? But I think by the time you do all that, you can have a really nice custom-made topo map, all right? Good luck. See you guys in class, and bye-bye.